And we're live. Good morning. How's everybody? We got Charles here today. He's going to talk to us all about skincare.
All right.
And what we're doing wrong and what we need to do it right.
Good morning, everyone. It's another beautiful day in God's paradise. It is Thursday the 17th, July 25. Today's day 12 of Kiltz No Food. Never felt better. My glucose is run around 70. It goes as low as 45. I feel fine. I'm doing my usual customary go to work every day, 100 push-ups. And it's just, it's another great day in paradise. And today, Charles is here talking about face food, right?
Oh, yeah. Skincare, baby.
It's all about skincare. Lard OB. Lard is the critical thing we're all missing. And how did we get to this crazy place? Dr. Nelson, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you doing? I'm doing okay.
Do I look all right?
Yep.
You got some beautiful skin happening.
Yeah. More skin exposed.
More skin exposed. Yeah. And Alia, good morning
to
you. Thank you.
Good morning, Dr. Kiltz.
Where are you in this world today?
Oh, I'm in Bogota right now. I'll be here for a couple of weeks. That's why my background looks different.
Love it. You're on. You got it. Awesome.
I'm on live over here and StreamYard with you and your team. And I think I've got some people following over here. Can you guys hear Dr. Kiltz through my computer? Give me a
Can you hear Kiltz loud and clear? Right? Awesome.
You're
awesome.
Always can hear you, buddy.
And hashtag KMT is going to get you some Pharaoh skincare. Is that right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Nice.
We got our skincare duo lined up for your audience this morning.
All right. Well, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your line of work here, and working to heal our brothers and sisters around the globe?
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Kiltz. I think the last time we saw each other was MeatStock. That's when I got to meet the rest of this team online today. So great to see you all. So yeah, I'm Charles Mayfield. I'm the founder of Pharaoh Skincare. We launched in 2022. We're the first lard-based skincare company in sort of the skincare game out there. I'm sure all your listeners are familiar with tallow, and we love tallow. It's remarkable animal fat, and it comes mostly from cows. Tallow is kind of a placeholder term for the rendered visceral fat of a ruminant animal. And so, you have elk, bison tallow, but if you hear the term lard, that is a pig specific reference. And we share a ton of biology with pigs. And so raise a healthy, happy pig, and their skin and our skin and their fat seem to line up pretty well. And, I didn't know all the science when I sort of did this and launched this, Dr. Kiltz, but I had a remarkable experience with what I believe is probably the most common acute skincare condition. I got a really bad sunburn, and half desperation, half curiosity. I had a jar of lard that I had rendered and was cooking and frying and baking with, and just out of curiosity, I used it to. I'm going to say you got to be careful what words you use. Certainly relieve my sunburn, and it worked remarkably. And so sort of set the stage for me to go on this mission. Skincare in today's world is absurdly toxic. They're using the wrong fats. They're using a bunch of other chemicals that don't necessarily help our endocrine system. In fact, quite harmful in many respects. And here we are, 3.5 or so years later. I've got a background in sort of paleo nutrition, and so I've got a wonderful community of folks that I've been near and dear for many years on the food side, and decided to make a jump from from what we put in our mouth to what we put on our skin, which is our largest organ. It does eat things, and here we are today.
I have a question about that. What percentage of what we put in our skin gets absorbed? Do you know that answer?
That's a great question. I would say, well, first and foremost, I don't know from a percentage standpoint. I do know that our skin does consume lots of different things. If you look at all the different dermal patches, I mean, nicotine is probably the best example to illustrate for your listeners. But, they make nicotine patches and transdermal patches for all sorts of various hormones. I know several people in my life that have women that have estrogen patches. In terms of percentages, I don't know. What I do is that things do absorb, and regrettably, they absorb directly into the bloodstream. And so, there's
probably more than 50 to 60%.
Okay, yeah.
Which means if you put in your skin, you would put it in your mouth, right?
Well, I think it's actually worse because our gastrointestinal system has evolved to have two really effective exit strategies. And so if we eat something that doesn't agree with us, there's a north tunnel and a south tunnel that can be exited very quickly from our system. Plus, it's a very highly acidic system. I know Dr. Kiltz and I have talked in the past about the gut biome and making sure that we've got a really healthy microbiome in our gut. There's also all these acids and various things, and our skin doesn't offer a highly acidic atmosphere to break things down. And then obviously our stomach, when we eat something, we have to give it permission to come inside. It has to be properly broken down and then absorbed. And with our skin, it's going directly into the blood. And so I do think that this is one of the issues with skincare and why the toxicity in it is such a big problem, is because there's really no filter. If it gets on the skin, it's getting in our bodies. And so we need to be especially cautious about what we do put on our skin.
And so what are most skincare products made from? What's their basic foundation?
Yep. Great question. The basic foundation for most products starts with water. Most products are an emulsification of, with skincare products, you have three components, generally speaking. If you walk into a store, you're buying water, and then on the other end of that spectrum, you're buying a fat, some sort of fat or combination of fats. And then in the middle of those two are the various products that make water and fat get along. They don't naturally mix. And so you've got emulsifiers, you've got various preservatives. When you emulsify water with fat, the water acts as a food source for any airborne bacteria.
I'm sorry to interrupt. When you use the term, they mix it with fat, they mix it with plant oils, not animal fats.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Because I always say we misspeak, because fats are from animals and oils are from plants. Oils are extracted. Fat is naturally produced by the animal. There's no extraction needed. Would you?
I thank you for that point of clarification. I need to change. Thank you for that. I do need to change how I describe that, because the oils, yes. So the skincare industry is an oil-based industry, not a fat-based industry. I appreciate that. And now where do those oils come from? Some of them do come from plants. Some of them come from seeds. And regrettably, a lot of them come from petroleum derivatives.
With plants and seeds, I always say seed oils, plant oils are the same. They're plant oils, right?
Yeah.
A plant and an animal. But you're right. That last one is petroleum based, which is it mostly an animal? Is petroleum mostly an animal or a plant degradation product?
I would say, we hear the term fossil fuels all the time. I mean, when we say oil-based, it's a petroleum-based byproduct. Petrolatum is the most common. This is what your neosporins and your petroleum jellies. And so it is a waste product from oil manufacturing. I guess if we wanted to get into the lineage of petrolatum, I would contend that it's probably equal plants and animal based in its heritage. But again, it's all the various things they have to do to that gasoline. I don't know that there's much animal or plant matter left by the time they get there.
Although it's a life form degradation that creates petroleum or crude oil that we then take and extract nature's created product, which is crude oil.
Mm-hmm.
It's a natural product, isn't it?
It is. Absolutely.
And it's I'm just kind of generalizing about this, kind of interesting, but where I separate things is the microbial world makes a lot of toxins, the plant world, but in general, what toxins come from lard?
What toxins come from lard?
Right. Are there any toxins naturally in lard?
Not naturally. This gets into the sort of the dichotomy between an industrial or factory farm raised pig versus one that's grown on pasture. Fat is a storage organ, certainly subcutaneous fat. We store our vitamin D, we store excess vitamins and minerals there. We certainly store extra calories there. And so in a farming environment where you've got maybe a reliance on pharmaceutical inputs, antibiotics, hormones, things of that nature, any excess or really any additional pharmacological input into that animal's life is going to ultimately end up being in its fat, which is why we do not source any of our fat from animals that are raised in that fashion.
Does yeah, that's an interesting one. I have not seen a study that measured the toxins in animal fat.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't either. And of course, you've also got to talk about, I mentioned, tallow is from visceral fat. When there's a visceral equivalent from pigs called leaf lard. I find myself talking about lard most of the time, but leaf lard is the tallow equivalent, but from a pig. And so, this is coming from the kidney fat, the leaf fat in a pig. And I will say this is one of the great things about visceral fat, whether it come from a cow or any other animal or a pig, is there's no metabolic pathway in any mammal to store environmental exposure in their visceral fat. All the storage mechanisms, for better or for worse, are with the subcutaneous fat, again, which is where lard comes from. We don't see much subcutaneous fat in the beef industry because all of that fat, first of all, ruminants it's very hard to pack on extra fat. Finishing an animal and adding subcutaneous fat, if they're a ruminant, is difficult. And most of the subcutaneous fat on a cow is dedicated to the grind. Most people like a fatty grind. I'm a 70-30, 80-20 kind of guy. That's 80%, lean meat and 20% fat. That's where all the flavor, that's where a lot of nutrition is. And so we don't see rendered subcutaneous beef fat on store shelves. It's all tallow. And then, and so
which is visceral fat.
Tallow is visceral fat. Yes, it's the rendered fat from it's called suet on a cow. It's the raw kidney fat from a cow, and it's a remarkable. I know you've seen seen it. For your listeners that don't know, again, this is the same case with leaf lard. It's one big globule of fat. It's like an organ, and it encases the kidneys. I tell people it acts like the airbag or the seatbelt for the kidney. So it's there to protect.
Where did we get the idea that fat stores toxins and not the liver?
Well, I got that idea because subcutaneous fat is a storage mechanism, and I know we're storing excess vitamin D there. But I'm open to you telling. You're the doctor here, not me. I'm a farmer that loves pigs, so enlighten me. But we also have. I'm taking a peptide right now. And so that peptide is, I'm taking this BPC 157 peptide, and it's a subcutaneous injection. And so I'm, every day I'm putting a peptide into my subcutaneous fat. Now, where it goes from there and how much it's stored, if you know what the answer, I'm open to it.
I've never seen a study that showed the content. In my opinion, if you're consuming toxins, and I don't know what toxin you're consuming, it's going to go everywhere. Last I looked, and your body works to eliminate inflammation, looks to eliminate foreign particles and toxins. I don't know that there's any reason it would say, let's store it in your fat. I hear we say these things, and I'm glad you bring it up, but I have not seen that in truth.
Would it more preferentially try to store it in the muscle, or is it just not storing it at all? And ultimately,
what's the job of the liver? To detoxify, not to store toxins. It metabolically will break them down and eliminate the toxic part of that particle. So that's why I think this idea that what toxin would you carry around? What toxin your body say? Let me put mercury in your fat to store it. I don't know. I just think it's all. See, we malign fat and adipose tissue, which adipose tissue is an organ system.
Yep.
Because without that organ system, you're dead, right? If, like me, I'm on my 15-day fast, right? My muscles are strong, my bones are strong, my fat, my adipose tissue is depleting some, right? But I've got plenty stored up anyway, so that, again, don't you think in general we judge fat negatively?
Oh, no question. No question. And we conflate. Maybe part of this is going back to what you said earlier. Maybe part of this is because we conflate fat with oil.
Well, because plant oils and animal fats are different, because the one difference is that plants make poisons. Humans do not. The poisons the plants make are very commonly they're fat soluble, and they're look at essential oils, right?
Yep.
I just want to add a comment real quick that has nothing to do with this particular comment. So someone says, let's see, where is that? Why do you drink coffee? This is not carnivore. Is driving a car, flying an airplane, or living in a house carnivore?
I think it's the most carnivore thing you can do, Doc.
But we're live animals. So do I enjoy a martini sometimes and a coffee sometimes? You better believe I do. Am I losing sleep over it? I am not. I'm on a food fast, not eating food, calories. All right, how many calories are in the cup of decaf coffee?
0.
Well,
There's
I have
nothing.
no idea. I don't know.
If it's just black, it's almost nothing.
Well, right. In general, I think, but I don't even know that answer, but that's a good one. But, listen, pick your own fast. You want to do butter fast, bone marrow fast? It's your fast. This is my fast.
Yeah.
Right. How many people do you know have been on so far 12 days no food, no calories consumed in a drink? Oh, wait a minute. I did have a little bit of Kiltz's electrolyte mix, which has a little bit of stevia. Also,
Shame
oh my
on
God. Right? You have your own fast. This is mine.
I do think, and I see it. I mean, every community that involves human beings is like this, but especially in the sort of the carnivore, biohacking, paleo world, I think people can auger themselves down into a rabbit hole so deep that, and I think that's probably one of the things I appreciate most about you and your community. It's just we're going to go do what we do, and we're going to love it and live life and praise the Lord. Praise the
Lord every day, and don't lose it. Okay. The positive thinking every day, Norman Vincent Peale, keep your mental and spiritual contact points clean so that God can operate through your mind. You got to clean the shit, right? You got to wash it out, polish it up. And that's what we're here to do. So I'm sorry, Charles, I interrupted a little bit on that one. Are we getting any questions yet? Alia?
We got some questions. Sharon McCabe, does your soap contain lye? Why do some have lye? You don't make soap, but what's the answer to that question?
We do make soap.
You do make soap. Oh, okay, good. Sorry. Yep. Go ahead.
Should I throw a soap in our bundle for today? I'll throw our soap in the bundle today.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Does your soap contain lye?
Alia?
Yeah.
Do we have a discount code and a link to sell Charles's products on our site?
We will at the end of this conversation.
Good, because it's important.
And it's
working with our partners.
DR
Kiltz, right on. Because we're here to help bring everyone into the Kiltz store in order to kind of highlight the amazing people that are passionate about providing products that are healing humanity, our brothers and sisters around the globe. That's what we're here to do, right?
Absolutely, yes. Good.
Don't let the pursuit. Well, here's another good comment.
Don't let the pursuit of perfection stand in the way of excellence.
You know what?
Amen.
The best thing you do today is what you do today. And when you judge with negativity, you focus on negativity. Awesome job. Great to be here. Great to have everyone. Listen, if you're a vegan, vegetarian, Mediterranean, I don't care. You're in the house. We're having a conversation. We're talking about healing humanity. And we're putting I know I got your stuff here somewhere. I'll find it. I'll find it.
Send you some more.
Yeah, I got it. I think at home, I think. I think I just got it at home.
Did your daughter like it? You got your
oh yeah.
Grandbaby.
Yep.
Good.
Julio.
Oh, yeah.
Julia with the G from Italy.
I love it. Alia, we do use lye to make our soap.
Okay.
I don't know how you make soap without lye.
Oh,
I mean, soap is a human invention where they took pot ash, water, and fat and put it together. Where does the lye come from?
It comes. What's that?
Does it come from pot ash?
Our lye is just a sodium bicarbonate. It's something I order. I don't make my own potash anymore. But where it originally came from is they would burn a log and get a lot of the charcoal, and then they would filter water through it to extract the lye. And
ash, a pot of ash is where it comes from. You're right. Yep. You take the fire contents, and somehow my bet is fire contents plus water and fat spilled all over from the cooking. Someone used it to clean, and like, oh my God, let's make soap.
Yep.
I'm sure that's how it actually happens.
Actually, that has to be how it happened, because you had you had fire to cook meat, you had rendered fat laying around somewhere, and at some point, someone maybe needed to put the fire out. And so you bring the water in, and that all somehow mixed together. And next thing you know, it saponifies, and you got this sort of hard, cakey substance that when it gets wet and gets on your skin, gets soapy. Can you imagine being the first person to like pick up soap and try and figure out what you just made?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But it's really, again, it's all these substances where nature's made, and it wasn't like you ordered them up in a box, jar or bucket. And we're human beings are very, very, very inventive, very observant of what nature gives us.
Well, and I'll say that it's such a good question, because one of the biggest challenges with skincare today is the over sanitization of our skin, the over cleansing. In fact, I love when people ask, what do we use to make our soap? Well, first and foremost, if you're not using soap, I can't see a reason to use anything else to clean your body other than warm water and soap. Beauty bars, body scrubs. If it doesn't say soap, you should stay as far away from it as possible, because they're putting other cleansing compounds. We made this remarkable, I think it was made in World War I, but expanded production in World War II. We made this incredible, field sanitation powder for wound care. You get shot or stabbed in the middle of a war. You don't want it to get infected. And after the war, they tried to use that compound to make soap. And I think it's probably one of the only decisions the FDA ever made that was good for our skin. But they said, okay, you can use it, but you can't call that product soap, because soap is short for saponification, which is the chemical reaction between the lye, the fat, and the water that produces this highly effective cleansing bar.
Which is truly potash from the fire that was common around our evolutionary camps as humans evolved. Yeah. But I guess, it's all going to be like, when did we start making pottery? But we also use nature's wooden pots that withstand some heat. Wasn't necessarily in the fire, but it was near it. It got hot. It began to boil and heat up the contents within a bowl. So the what do they call? What are these? They're, even like a coconut or
like a coconut husk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Mother Nature makes bowls. It certainly contributes. There's a really interesting book, Dr. Kiltz, if you ever have the time to read it. It's called Consider the Fork. It's a really, really cool sort of deep dive into the history of eating and cooking utensils, and really kind of fascinating. But yeah, there were certain indigenous cultures that abandoned pottery. So you think about the technology around making pottery, and then they completely abandoned it because there were no foodstuffs in their region of the world that required boiling. And so it's like, why are we going to all this trouble to make a pot when we should be focusing our energy on? You're such a man of many talents. Is that the Kiltz cup? I got to get the cup. I love it. So yeah, it's fascinating. But yeah, so over sanitization is a real problem with skincare. I was talking before we hit record. I was talking about the idea that running hot water is a technology that's really only ubiquitously available in the last 80 to 100 years. And if we think about washing our dishes, what gets most of the job done on washing your dishes? Well, it's a little exfoliation with like a Brillo pad or something, and running hot water. You can get most of the dishes clean. In our skin, regrettably, we're over sanitizing. So we're hyper scraping and removing all of this excess oil from our skin, and it leaves it overly dry. And then our glands are forced to produce more oil when they really need to just sort of be sort of in that homeostasis of skin moisture. When you throw on top of that all the alcohol-based sanitary wipes, and a lot of this got really overblown in the last 5 years with all of that madness. But yeah, we over sanitize our skin. We artificially strip too many of the natural oils our glands produce off on a very regular basis, and that's not good.
I want to remind everyone we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Are we on TikTok or X? And we're not
X.
on TikTok today, the morning.
No.
We're gonna get to that.
All my Instagrammers, this awesome crew here. There you are.
And I've got our KMT. I've kind of manipulated the camera. Here's my stuff to show that also. And I appreciate everyone being here today. Hashtag KMT on all of these platforms. We're going to do a gift of Pharaoh Skincare packet, which we really appreciate Charles for really sharing his amazing products and ideas and helping heal our brothers and sisters. So hashtag KMT is the way to get to that. Let me just point out that Amy Brisket Boomers wanted to say hi to Charles. Helped pick skin food, heal open spot on my eyebrow. Most people would have cut it out. So thank you. Totally healed. Let's see. Let's see. What are the peptides you're talking about, Charles?
Oh, it's they call it the Wolverine peptide. I think it's BPC 157. It's got some gut healing and anti-inflammatory qualities. And I've had, gosh, Dr. Kiltz, I've had 5 different knee surgeries on my left knee, just tore an ACL repeatedly over the years. I was a basketball player. And so, did some research. And so I've been sort of leaning into that. The knees started to give me a couple of issues. And there seems to be some real efficacy around this 157, helping with gut health and also sort of lowering inflammation, encouraging healing. So that's a specific peptide.
Tell me about your carnivore introduction into the community, and what's your value and benefit, do you think, from this?
Gosh, I've got a paleo background, so I got in the paleo scene back in around 2010, 2009, 2010. And, looking back now, I sort of realized that sort of paleo is ultimately sort of a very carnivorously heavy diet. Dr. Kiltz, I've been very fortunate. I've never come to a dietary or nutritional change by force. I don't have an autoimmune condition to my knowledge. I don't, I got packed on my freshman 15 in college, but, it's never been a forced journey. It's always been curiosity. And candidly, running into you, Sean Baker, Dr. Phil Ovadia, some of the people in the space, it was about 5 years ago. I just sort of said, why not just go all carnivore, all meat? And I enjoy the occasional, I've got young kids, and so, birthdays and this, that, and the other, occasional fruit. I would say I'm 95 to 90% carnivore. I mean, meat, eggs. I do enjoy a little bit of dairy from time to time, but it's mostly meat and eggs. What do I love about it? I mean, my energy is absolutely unparalleled. I have great energy. I would say my number one challenge, honestly, with carnivore is making sure I'm eating enough. The diet is so satiating. I very rarely get hungry. But from a guy that's got, 3 cookbooks to my name and spends a lot of time in the kitchen, I would say the number one thing I love most about it is it's easy. I mean, I at the beginning of the week, you can count on me. I'll make a egg and sausage frittata. So it's just, sausage, egg, Sometimes I put cheese in it, sometimes I don't. I'll cook a huge frittata. I'll eat off that all week, and then I'll make a batch of burgers. Which, by the way, Dr. Kiltz, we never got around to me making my special burgers for you at MeatStock. So next year,
we'll arrange it.
We are going to have a burger night, and and I look forward to it. But yeah, I'll cook a batch of burgers. 4, 5, 6 pounds of ground meat, and again, I'll nosh on those all week. So I've enjoyed it. My kids enjoy it. It's easy to add fruits and vegetables, so to speak, to the carnivore diet if they're in the mood for something. I typically try to stay with them on fruits. My daughter has she has a little bit more of an affinity for some of the vegetables that are out there, and I try not to get in the way of her making choices. Hey baby, if you want to eat this, that's fine. But yeah, my son, he's my younger son, Scott. He's pretty carnivorous, and so hammering him out with a couple of burgers or a big old steak is never a problem. But yeah, that's been my journey so far, and I love it. I try to be an apostle of the carnivore diet as often as I can.
What about the consumption of pork as a food versus beef? Do you have any opinions on that?
I view pork as the dessert portion of the carnivore diet. Pigs are monogastric omnivores just like us, and so you really have to raise a healthy, happy pig in order for them to I think to express their most fundamental nutritional value. But yeah, my magical burgers are a 70-30 split between this local pastured pork sausage producer that I know and beef. And so, pigs are incredibly good at converting excess caloric intake into subcutaneous fat, just like us. I mentioned, the challenge with ruminant animals is packing on that extra fat, finishing the animal, so to speak. Pigs do it very naturally. And so, if you're looking for a little bit more fat in your diet, I think pork is a wonderful augment to the carnivore diet. Who doesn't love bacon? And if I'm being honest, a nice glazed pork belly, skin on pork belly, a little braising action there is wonderful.
Yeah. So what is it a pig would eat that would be harmful to it or us? It eats plants, right? It's an omnivore, but in general, they eat plants, correct?
They eat grubs. They're carnivorous in many respects. They'll eat insects.
They're omnivores, but in general, a raised pig versus a raised cow, even a free range pig in a whatever the paddock is or what size it is, what are they eating that's harmful to it and us?
I suppose nothing.
Nothing.
It depends on, nuts, seeds,
insects.
They're doing, so they're doing, a pig is doing to nuts and seeds. Again, take it back to this this carnivorous template where a lot of seeds don't agree with us. Plants have these various toxins and things of that nature. I think that pigs do with an omnivorous diet what cows do with plants. We can't eat grass and metabolize any energy from it, but a cow can, and turn that into, this nutrient-packed protein and fat source. And so to answer your question, in a natural setting, nothing. I don't think a pig's eating anything.
When people say this monogastric animal is not as good as a ruminant animal, I haven't seen any science on that one.
Yeah,
Are we
a
little bit, and that the pig is probably, let's see, what animal is raised around the world? Isn't a pig the number one?
Yeah, we researched that a couple days ago. It was pig.
Yeah,
It's
pork
pig.
is the number one fat or number one meat consumed globally.
which seems to me like it's done a good job in providing us with calories for survival, exploration, and creativity.
It's one of the magic parts of the pig. They are, because of their monogastric omnivorous nature, they can survive, and I would make the argument thrive in tons of different ecosystems. And they're remarkable for the land, when you start, because if we're going to grow food, we've got to have a healthy ecology to do that. And pigs play a remarkably valuable role that, quite frankly, ruminants can't do. Ruminants don't dig and root. They don't turn the soil over. They're not interested in ridding the landscape of, grub worms and pest insects and things of that nature. And so it's a nice. So I'm a lard-based skincare company, but we use tallow in our product as well. And I think the combination of the cow and the pig is a remarkable concept and combo, whether you're eating, the shared wonderment of beef and pork, or if you're putting it on your skin. I think tallow has a wonderful role in skincare as acting more of a seal on our skin. So let the moisture soak in and then seal it in, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, we owe a great debt of gratitude to the pig, because it has been a primary protein source for our existence for a very, very long time. And it gets a bad rap,
But should we say it's been a great source of fatty meat? Because would we say that protein is our focus, or fat should be our focus?
That's why I like talking to you, Dr. Kiltz. You reframe how I should communicate. No. You're right, because fat is such an important part. And again, the pig is especially gifted at taking excess calories. Again, excess calories are a new thing. Nobody had excess calories, 500 years ago, right? But the pig could go out and forage, and because it can thrive on an omnivorous diet, it was able to potentially find excess calories. And so they're so good at taking excess calories and converting them into subcutaneous fat. The fattiest meats on the planet for thousands of years came from pigs, I can assure you.
Right, because pigs in nature, in the wild, proliferate well. They provide us with amazing fatty meat. I don't know why we think protein is the most important thing. It is not. It's fatty meat is the most important thing, which contains minerals, vitamins, amino acids, simple sugars, and fatty acids. And so it's the fat, because if you eat only lean meat and no fat, that causes disease. That's called protein poisoning. And we got a comment from Dawn McHugh on KMT about lost 14 pounds. Now she's 6 pounds back. 80-20. She's got 80-20 beef, included butter and eggs, some cheese. I'm taking butter and cheese out, and even eggs, to see what Lion Diet does. Anyone lose, then gain in the early days? I feel great, but today I'm looking forward to fat loss and getting smaller. So interesting for me, my weight has gone from 159 down to 148, up to 154, down to 151. Now, yesterday, my team gave me 2 liters of fluid with some mineral vitamin supplement, which I said, sure, you guys go ahead, because they're worried about me. And ultimately, what animal wants to lose weight and be skinny?
The human.
One animal. Humans. If you can't find food for a week, 2 or 3, is it better to be fat or skinny? Fat.
Fat all day long, yeah.
All day long. Does fat and obesity cause disease? Zero. Zero.
Yeah.
It's what you eat that contains the glycating, oxidative stress, and the poisons are in the plant food and low fat diet you're eating. Fat is where it's at, and without fat, you're dead. 99.9% of humanity eats little to no fat from an animal, because most people either cook it away or don't eat it in the first place. And that's the single leading cause of disease. Eat fatty, rare to raw meat. And if you just eat the tallow lard raw, that's the healthiest.
Dr. Kiltz, I have a question. Do you think we're producing fat as a mechanism to protect the body from all of the plant toxins we're putting in it?
The liver's job is to make fat so you survive for the next day, 2 or 3 without food. Fat is the only fuel and building block of the body. You make fat out of amino acids, simple sugars. Lean meat, lean food, and plants are devoid of fat. When you eat fat, lard, tallow, eat the animal raw fat, it goes to the lymphatics. It's stored everywhere. And so there's nothing pathologic with getting obese.
Right.
It's your body says stress. I better get you ready for the famine or the sickness or the hibernation or the migration or the gestation. So we've got to get the science correct about the human body before we can even talk about the best ways to do this. Why am I 12 days of no food feeling fantastic? Charles.
I have to bring something up. I'm pulling an old chapter out of back when I was running the gym. This is for your viewer that was commenting about their weight fluctuation. Whenever I would coach paleo challenges or any sort of dietary change, and I would always encourage people, like, find your favorite pair of jeans that are just a little too tight, or find that it's just it was the outfit that motivated you to make a dietary change, right? And rely on that. Like, the scale will lie to you, right? Because you could get on a scale at the same time every single day, change nothing about your routine, and your weight will fluctuate between 1% and 3% due to just nothing in your control. And so,
well, here it is. If I drink a pot of coffee, water, or drink something, does that increase my weight?
In theory, no. Well, yes, it has to.
Remember, everything I consume, it adds to the total content of my body. Of course I gain weight. Do I pee it all out in an hour? No. It may take days to pee it out. Who knows? So go with nothing to drink or eat. There's where you see the weight change, because it's just science. I'm sorry. You breathe out CO2, you breathe in oxygen, you're making water. So it's just natural. So Deb Rich asks, what makes us fat if we are eating just meat and fats? Well, does a polar bear get fat eating ring seals? You better believe it does. Does your body want you to be skinny or fat?
It wants you to be fat.
100%. It is not dumb. The only fuel for the mitochondria is adipose tissue. It is not sugars from your diet, amino acids your diet. They must be converted in the liver to fat or you die. It's simple as that. That's why type 1 diabetics die, and that's why cirrhotics die. But because 99.9% of humanity does not eat raw fat, which turns out to be the healthiest thing to put in your mouth and on your skin.
Oh, if you've never eaten fat back, like a little salted fat back, it's delightful.
It's the very best. It's the very best, right?
Yeah.
So again, what if obesity is not the cause of disease, but simply the unnatural, the improper human diet is it? And we're not herbivores. We're omnivores that are focused mostly on eating raw fatty meat. Organ meats, I think, are great, by the way. I take my organ meat supplements every day. You can get them on I don't know where. And we're working to get our electrolyte mix back online, and our molecular fertility supplements also. And we're going to add an amino line and all these things. But do you need them? Eat the fatty raw meat and the organ meats. Eat one time a day or less. If you're getting fat, you want to be skinny, don't eat, move more. It's simple as that. And I don't believe in this, you're not eating enough, personally. I think that's another false statement by the carnivore world. You got to eat, eat, eat. No, you don't. I'm giving you my opinion, by the way.
I love it. Well, I mean, I think I said earlier, one of my challenges is I do feel like I'm not necessarily. Again, these are all sort of the paradigm kind of thoughts we have, but there's a caloric sort of resting metabolic rate. You want to make sure that you're over time, getting enough to eat. You don't want to stress your body too much. Obviously, I think the fasting. Well, back to our body, we want to gain fat. Humans are built to survive starvation. And so what does that involve? That involves taking excess calories if and when they do exist and converting those into subcutaneous fat stores. That's
visceral fat
that's just how visceral fat as well
is not pathologic. There's no reason why visceral fat would be pathologic. Makes no sense.
Yep.
And remember, we're on a world. This world of medicine is claiming you're unhealthy because of obesity, and you've got to take these drugs and diets and join a gym, which is all false. You don't have to do any of that. But when you go to the proper human diet, eating a animal-based, and when I use the word animal-based, you're either animal-based or plant-based, or you're both. Animal-based means you eat animals, plant-based, you eat plants. And ultimately, if you simply eat that, you'll suddenly feel better. Your brain is clear. And if you want to drop some pounds, don't eat for a week. It's easy.
Yeah.
Don't eat for a week.
Well,
it's easy.
I would add on top of that. So dietarily, carnivore makes a lot of sense, but also lifestyle, and so I would say that the things that we have removed from our carnivorous nature today are the hunting, the gathering. This circles back to skincare, which I think animal-based skincare is the absolute way to go, because
100%. That's why you're putting out what you do. I just want to show this list of goitrogenic foods. Dr. Nelson, can you read a few of those out loud?
No, I can't.
Here. Maybe
well, no, it's all.
Okay.
I don't think that helps. It's it's arugula, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, eggplant, horseradish, leeks, okra, spinach, squash, potatoes, tomatoes, figs, grapes, peaches, pears, plums, strawberries, almonds, cashews, peanuts, pine nuts, walnuts, soy, garbanzos. These are all toxic, and they cause thyroid damage and damage to every organ system of our body.
That's basically what people eat. All that is what's in the diets of, consuming plants. I don't identify with them anymore.
Which cause hair loss, which cause brain fog, which cause fermentation in the bowels, which makes alcohol, aldehydes, heat, gas, and methane. These are all harmful substances for our body. What toxic chemical comes from a ribeye steak?
None.
Zero.
Is Is joy a toxic chemical? I don't think so. I think
it's
joy
the best intoxication ever. Joy, happiness, gratitude, kindness, right? We need fat. Nobody is protein deficient. We're actually fat deficient in our diet. When I say fat, it's the white stuff. And the problem with fish, chicken, and turkey is what?
Not enough fat.
No fat.
There's no fat. There's no fat.
Yeah.
And in general, how do you cook a chicken, fish, or turkey? You bake it at high temperature in the stove. We put up the turkey under all the fat is rendered. There's no raw fat in the animal. It's as simple as that. But how many people would eat a raw turkey or chicken?
Well, you shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
But raw beef.
And you shouldn't eat raw pork either. I will say.
Well, I eat raw bacon all day long. I eat raw bacon. So right on. But when was the last time there was trichinosis in pork?
Oh. Here's the funny stat. It gets talked about all the time. So pork is the #1 cause of trichinosis globally. Okay. I think in the U.S. last year, there were less than 30 cases of trichinosis. I'm not saying they all came from pork.
And how much Salmonella, Shigella, E. coli from plants?
Yeah, a lot.
Infinite. Look at,
yeah.
We always worry about the things that is less likely. Raw meat, raw beef is best, in my opinion. And you want to focus on the fat, not the lean meat. Single leading cause of disease is lean meat. Now remember, every cell of every animal contains amino acids, simple sugars, and fatty acids. So in fact, you don't eat protein, you eat cells of animals or plants, which contain those things, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what time is it? Do we have like really important questions? Just pick an important one, Alia.
Okay. I'm looking.
Important question.
I mean, everyone's questions are important, but I'm looking for one that's relevant.
Find one that nobody, that's just like, oh, we need to ask this one.
Well,
the brand
what's the name of your brand? That's important.
Pharaoh.
Why Pharaoh?
Pharaoh is a term for Pharaoh. RROW is a term for like a litter of puppies. You have a Pharaoh of piglets. So when a new batch of piglets comes along, they're referred to as a Pharaoh of piglets. And so, never mind calories. How many carbohydrates in a mug of coffee?
It's like almost nothing. Black coffee.
No. Okay. All right. Remember, it's always a number. But
it's less than 1 gram.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's less than 1 gram.
I don't know. I don't know.
I love that.
We got that. Get calories. Alia, great. You're amazing. Local health webinar last evening in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The presenter was the Optic Kills program that refused my question. Is that like, that's why, look at, love them all and just move on. Love them all and move on.
There we go.
If we buy regular store soap, which are the brands? Best brands.
No, the best brand is what, Charles? What's the best brand?
I would say Pharaoh.
What's the best brand, right? And how do people find your soap on our site to get a Dr. Kiltz discount, right, Alia?
Yes, very soon.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
There you go.
Today.
Lewis.
Let's see. I'm reading these questions too.
What is the difference between white fat and yellow fat? Color.
Presumably beta carotene is a component, especially with ruminants. If they've got a high beta carotene diet the forage pasture, then their fat will be more yellow. If you're buying your ribeye at the store, if it was a feedlot, it's probably white fat. If you get a grass finished, it's probably a little bit more yellow. I think they're both fantastic sources of fatty meat. Fatty meat, Dr. Kiltz,
is what you want to eat. Right on.
Yeah, don't let the fat color dissuade you from consumption.
Our friends at Carrot, what's the Carrot in California beef company? Alia.
Santa Clarita.
Clarita.
Yeah.
Which
Clarita.
feeds
Santa
their
Clarita.
cows carrots, and they get a little bit more orange color. So I think it's all great. All right, we got to do our KMT real quick while we're talking. Alia, just get the button. I've got to go to surgery.
Yeah.
Dr. Nelson, what do we have on the agenda today?
Today at 3 p.m. we have Chris Spath with us with his amazing diabetes reversal story.
Yeah, awesome. And Charles, where can people find you?
Our website is farrow.shop. FARROW.shop is the best place to find us. And
and Kiltz Shop is coming, where you can press the Kiltz Shop, and we'll help you find all these great products and get a discount. Branda Weldon, you're going to get email ali@drkiltz.com. We've got your stuff in there. Don't forget, join Kiltz Mighty Tribe for free and get even bigger discounts on all these products and ideas and connections and books for everyone, by the way. And then we're going to have other levels to join for different products and ideas and experiences. So don't forget to watch the movie. What's the movie everyone should be watching?
Animal.
Go check it out. Comment. And
great work, by the way, Dr. Kiltz. Great work on that movie.
You too, Charles. Charles and Kiltz are in it. Great content. Healing humanity with why Carnivore. It's a game changer.
All right, everybody. It's been a pleasure.
All right, my brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody. See you at 3 p.m.